So if you're currently building a business or maybe you're thinking about starting a business, this is going to be for you because I want to help you right now literally avoid one of the biggest mistakes I've made since running my businesses, where I actually started running my first business when I was 18 years old, currently 35 right now. So you can figure out the math on that. Now I'm literally sitting here in LA, waiting to do an interview for the podcast, but I wanted to share this with you because I had this epiphany right now, and it is coming down to something that I think is really important that I want to share with you. And that really is the case of, I want you to create the business that you truly want. But what does that actually mean? Because one of the biggest mistakes that I made was creating a business, well, actually multiple businesses, but it was actually based on a foundation that was wrong. It was incorrect. It was not actually a business that was giving me what I truly wanted, which is why I want to share this with you. And it might sound blazingly obvious what I'm going to share with you right now, but I think it's commonly missed way too often. And I wish I had figured this out earlier. Now, one of the biggest parts of why I want to do this and share this is really, I just want to document everything that I'm doing in my life and with my businesses so that I can hopefully help you. I can lay some breadcrumbs down. I can make the mistakes and help you avoid those as I go through that process. And for me, with the main company that I'm running right now, we've made over the last 4, 5, 6 months tops, dramatic changes. And thankfully, those dramatic changes came down to 2 reasons why I actually brought about those changes. One, it was actually doing the personal work myself, actually fixing my own shit at the end of the day, to be perfectly honest, because I really, truly feel when we are building a business, when we're running a business, it is a really direct reflection as to who we are. And one of my mentors, Alex Sharfran, said so brilliantly is if your business is stuck at a certain level, it's because you're the limiting factor. You're the thing that's stopping it from being able to break through that ceiling and to be able to go even further. So it was actually doing the work, the inner work, the personal development work, becoming a better person that I needed to become to be able to become a better leader, a better entrepreneur to make that happen. There was also the second factor, which was I stopped trying to mimic and model the wrong models at the end of the day, which is what I really want to dive into in this episode. But before we get into that, I want to talk about freedom, because for me, it is the main value. And with so many other entrepreneurs, with so many clients and members that I work with, a big part of it, what it comes down to is really, why are you actually wanting a business? And it really comes down to, when you peel those onion layers back, is, well, I want more freedom. But what does that actually mean? And I think if we kind of lean back onto Dan Sullivan's 4 freedoms, which is freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of purpose, and freedom of relationships. So let's actually dig into this, because this was really profound for me. Freedom of time. You want to be able to have the freedom of time to do the things that you want to be able to do. If you're stuck at a job from 9 to 5, those 9 to 5 hours are doing a job that you probably don't love, and that's not freedom of time. Freedom of money. You want to be able to buy the things that you want to buy to be able to have the things that you want to be able to have. I think that's pretty straightforward. We can get that as well. But I think it's really important for you knowing, well, how much does your ultimate life actually cost? And I think this is really important, especially because I've got an upcoming episode where we're really going to dig into this. So if you comment below with what your ultimate lifestyle costs, so everything, whether it comes to the homes you have, the amount of food that you buy for yourself, from charities to children's schooling to absolutely everything, how much does that actually cost? Because if I was to ask you, okay, great, you want to build your business, fantastic. Well, how much money do you want to earn? Typically, I ask that question for 2 reasons. One, I want to see where your mindset is at, because typically that answer is going to come to okay, well, this is how much I think that I can earn. But 2, it's actually a model situation, which is what is the business model that you need to be in, which is what we're talking about today, so that you can earn the money that you want. So there's freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of relationships. You want freedom to be able to pursue and have great quality relationships with the people that you want to be able to have, and freedom of purpose, which is you doing the work, doing what you want to do, showing up in the world the way that you want to show up to be able to make that happen. So I think it's a smart thing to do. Well, how do we turn our business to give us these 4 freedoms? And this is where I want to share with you the big mistakes that I've made so commonly over the last, and the changes over the last 4 to 6 months, because our offer changed. Literally what we were actually giving to the world, what we were saying to the world, we can fix for you, dramatically changed in our business. My belief on what was actually capable with the business changed by so much. And again, this is me fixing my stuff and stopping the ceiling right now for the business to dramatically grow and become so much better. The other part of it was my goals and desires changed. And therefore that changed the goals and desires of all the team members and us as a culture together as well. Then it was coming down to, well, our offer changed, our desires changed, our goals changed. Well, then naturally that came across in our messaging change, what we're saying to the world, our marketing message, the content that we put out, that dramatically changed as well. Because now we actually sat together as a team and we go, oh my God, we are the best solution in this marketplace to truly give what our people really need. We can service them better than anyone else in the marketplace, in the world. And that dramatically changed how we were showing up, which was amazing. And I'm sure you'll be able to see content from Josh Fager, our head coach in Coaches Cartel. Like, he knows because he was a client one day. He was someone that had a really crappy fitness business, and then he was able to become a client, grow an amazing business, now live and travel around the world running the business, and now being able to serve people doing exactly that, solving the problem that he had as well. So you just see it come out of his pores because he knows of the immense power of what is being offered as well. Which is a side tangent that I want to make right now, which is if you do not think that you have the best offer in the marketplace, if you do not think that you are able to absolutely best serve your client, your customers, take a second or a bit longer than a second, step back and then create that solution. Create that and be able to become the person so that you can deliver that. Because far too many people are glossing over and they're copying, which is what this episode's really about, and coming down to the fact of, okay, you're looking at someone else and you're saying, okay, well, I'm just going to be a little bit better. And I truly, truly believe that trying to become a little bit better offer is just not going to win anymore. This is something that's just not going to sustain. I truly believe that the cream's going to come to the top, and the best of the best are the ones that are going to thrive, and the ones underneath are probably barely going to survive. And so this way it comes down to, well, how do we make this practical right now? Because what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to look at other people's businesses and just try and copy them. There is so much nuance that you have to understand when creating the business that you want at the end of the day. And it comes down to 4 questions I want to leave you with today to make this really practical, to make this really helpful. This is how I started. I pulled out my journal, I sat down, I started with these 4 questions doing 5-6 months ago. And the dramatic change between 6 months ago and now with the business is incredible. I've never had so much freedom in my entire life. My stress levels have never been lower. And that's why I wanted to share this with you today. So the 4 questions for us to be able to go through is 1, what's the work that you want to be doing? Now, I highly, highly recommend that you're going to go through these 4 questions, stop, make time today. If better, actually just stop everything, sit down with a pen and paper and be able to answer these and give it time. Don't just try and write a couple of sentences. Write a page so you can really let it come out on what is the work that you want to be doing. You've got to have clarity on what this is so that we can form these together. So the first question is, what's the work that you want to be doing? The second question is, who do you want to serve? Who do you want to serve? And I'm kind of going to add like another like 2.8 question to this, which is, why do you think you're unique in the world, in the marketplace to be able to serve them? If you went up to your perfect client right now and you said to them, I can give you everything that you want, and this is why you should choose me over everyone else. Can you confidently say that? Can you confidently look them in the eyes and be able to have that conversation and have them be able to believe you and be able to have at least the willingness to take that first step to continue on that working relationship with you? Because then there's the third question, which is, how much money do you want to make? And so this is where we have to figure out, well, what's the right business model? Because there's the work that you want to do, And then there's who are you serving, which means you have to mold the situation between what you want and what your market wants. And then there is, well, how much money do you want to be making, which is the economic engine. I kind of call it the economic engine of the businesses. Does it make sense? Can I pull out a napkin and do a quick couple of squiggles and be like, okay, well, if you want to earn, let's say, for example, $250,000 a year, but you're only charging $300 a month to work with a client, and you can only see, let's say, 30 clients right now. You will not get to your money goals because of the economic model of your business, because you can't service enough clients with the amount that you're charging to get the money that you want. Does that make sense? I think that should. I think that's pretty easy to be able to pick up, because once you've answered how much money do you want to earn, then we can ask, well, how do you want to do the work that you want to be doing? Stick with me. How do you want to do the work that you want to be doing? Which is going into the kind of nitty gritty of, well, I want to work at these times. I want to work in this location. I want to do one-on-one calls. I don't want to do one-on-one calls. I don't want to deal with email responses. I don't want to deal with groups. Like, whatever it is, the actual work that you're doing, what is it that you want to be doing? Once you sit down and you've journaled through these 4 things, then you can see the similarities. Just like if you kind of had like 4 circles with the answers, where are the overlapping parts of them? Because then once you start with that, then you're going to be able to have a really easy next step to be able to go on to, okay, how can I actually form this together? So what I'm going to be doing in an upcoming episode is I'm going to actually be breaking this down and showing you literally in a real life scenario how this is going to work. We're going to use real case studies to peel back the onion so you can kind of see how a business goes from someone having an idea about it to then being able to be fully fledged, operating, working, leads coming through, clients getting signed on, money going into your bank account, and you being happy at the end of the day as well. So for this to really work, I want you to start with an easy question. I think this is probably the easiest question that's probably on the top of your mind. How much money do you want to be earning? Comment below with that. Now, if you're listening to this on the podcast, I'd love to hear from you. Make sure you leave a review wherever you're listening to the podcast. And if you're joining me on YouTube, then please comment below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, because it'd be a bummer if you missed out on the upcoming episodes, especially the kind of part 2 to this episode, where we can really peel back and show you how to do it in the real world so you can see others go through the same process. And as always, thank you so much for being here. I love being able to share this with you. Please don't make the same mistakes that I do. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode.